Welcome back to the Hoopstemple podcast. We've got all three of us back here today. Y'all know me, Nathan Schwartz, joining us from New Zealand, rocking an immaculate two-piece NBA combo. We got the OKC on top, Denver Nuggets below. Dylan Williamson.
Good morning. It was a successful day shopping.
Dude, I'm so jealous that you can find that at thrift shops. Like, I struggle to even find Pistons gear in Michigan. Just no one's bought Pistons gear in like the last 20 years. No one's given it up.
Yeah, I like reached my budget limit as well. So there was a Paul George shirt, like just Clippers jersey, but like a t-shirt version that I'll probably go back and get at some point too.
You have more self-control than I ever have. I would have just bought that. But also, I got to introduce Aaron. I mean, he's just been sitting here patiently, just smiling at the camera. Aaron, how was camping?
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Good to be back in civilization.
Awesome. So last week, while you were off gallivanting through the desert, I assume that's what one does in the desert when they camp there.
We were on the coast. We were on the coast.
Oh, I don't know why I was thinking desert.
I'm not going to the desert in August.
Yeah, that's a smart call. While you were gone, we did our top 1 through 25 for the pod. I remember last year it was you and I because Dylan was off gallivanting in a desert or something of the like. I assume that's what you guys do when you're not here. What qualms did you have? I guess I can read the list. We had Jokic at 1, Giannis at 2, Curry at 3, Durant at 4, Embiid at 5, Tatum at 6, Luka, Anthony Davis, Devin Booker, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 10, 11, Kawhi, LeBron, Jimmy Butler, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Paul George, Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards, Pascal Siakam. Number 20 is Brandon Ingram, 21 Domantas Sabonis, 22 Halliburton, Jaren Jackson Jr., De'Aaron Fox, and Bam Adebayo.
Would you like to hear my qualms?
Yeah.
My complaints?
Yeah, that's why I just read the list.
I'm ready. Honestly, I thought it was great for the most part. The top 4, I had the exact same heading into it. The two things that I noted that I would have changed, I feel like Bam Adebayo is better than Jaren Jackson Jr. I just would have flipped those guys, 23 and 25.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
Then the Kawhi Leonard 11 piece, I was curious where you guys would land with that. I just feel like he doesn't play enough to justify the 11 spot. I really love what Anthony Edwards is going to do this upcoming season. I'm really excited. I feel like him at 18 and another guy being Paul George at 16. George's age and his injuries and the inconsistency, I honestly would have flipped those guys and maybe bumped Kawhi back just like 1 or 2.
I feel like we bumped him back a fair amount based on availability. Like,
yeah,
if we were going to say that he's healthy, he'd be like top 4, and we hit him at 11. So
yeah, but he's not healthy. He's not going to be healthy. He's going to play 55 games.
This is going to be the year, Aaron. God damn it!
This 82 game Iron Man Kawhi season.
I think for me it was just I couldn't justify some of the other guys like behind him being over him if everyone's healthy. Like, you know, you look down. All right, maybe Damian Lillard's going to be healthier.
Maybe not. That guy's been pretty injury plagued lately as well.
I feel like last year was a little bit more than just shutting him down.
He's got like a chronic abdomen issue.
Yeah. Why not flip Butler and Kawhi? Say Butler just went to the finals. Is always awesome. He misses games, but he's always there in the postseason. Say Butler's 11. Kawhi's 12. LeBron's 13. But
Have you ever made a
I didn't
fry?
Sure.
You know, sometimes you make it stir fry and you don't have enough ingredients, but like you still make it work. You put in more things. There's a lot of good ways to make a stir fry, and this is what Jimmy Butler does: is he makes the stir fry, but he keeps running out of ingredients and somehow he pulls it off, and the playoffs work fine. But as he keeps getting older, I'm expecting a sharper decline from Butler than much of anything else.
Yeah, his game is pretty athleticism based. I mean, he does a lot of great things, but watching him in person or even just watching him in general, you notice that he's just bigger and stronger and faster than a lot of people. And as his body gets worse and worse with age, I can see that drop off. But honestly, I wouldn't like. There was nothing that I'm like, that's wrong. I don't get it. It was a good list.
Okay.
Maybe you're reaching on Ingram a little bit, but
Yeah, I
Yeah.
felt the reach on Ingram. I'm a very big Ingram guy ever since his LA time. I also had a wonderful conversation about Ingram the other day, and I say wonderful with a dripping amount of sarcasm. Just a complete basketball novice that was like, yeah, I think Giannis is better offensively than Jokic, but Jokic has the defense. And I'm like, do you have that backwards? He's like, no, Giannis, you just can't stop him. And I'm like, all right. But it devolved, and he was trashing Ingram. So I've been on my Ingram defense stand for a little bit. So
Yeah, Ingram, I agree. Like, if I was just like rough outlining it before looking into it that much, like you wouldn't think Brandon Ingram would be that level of player, but like the statistical profile and what he was able to achieve last year with a Pelicans team that had like a lot of inconsistency and a lot of players missing, like efficient scoring, good passing, like some defensive capability. Like it was actually hard to make an argument against him.
I'm curious to see. The Pelicans are on the cusp as they've been for a long time now. They have so much talent in that building. If it can all be on the floor at one time, really interesting.
This is going to be the season for Kawhi and Zion. We're going to get 75 games from each of them and a deep playoff run.
I thought you meant 75 games between the two of them. And I'm like, I could see that.
That's more likely.
I could see that. What, Zion gave us...
If you're sitting the over-under, that sounds probably about right.
Zion gave us 29 games last year, and Kawhi gave us... Oh, Kawhi gave us 52. Not bad. We hit the 70 mark, boys. All right. Aaron, as you've been missing, we'll let you nominate 26. Who's the first guy on your board?
I'm going to go with Lauri Markkanen. I'm going to say...
Interesting.
The 7-footer, hyper-efficient scorer. He was almost 26 points a night on 50, 39, 88 splits. Good defensive player as well. He gets his own shot over anybody. What do you guys think?
He is one of the guys that we talked about after the pod, right, Nate? Where we're kind of loosely throwing around the guys that might come up soon. So I think we were both pretty high on him.
I was pretty high on him, and then I started looking more into it, and I was just like, I think we've got a little bit more guys that can still stir the drink. I think Lowry exploded this past year. We didn't have him ranked in our top 90 last season. So I do want to kind of be a little bit cautious about overreacting. He had a really great start to the year, and then kind of trailed off as the season went on. And that's the Jazz intentionally trying to tank. They got rid of all the ball handlers. But it's not like they've really replaced the ball handlers in the offense. I mean, Mike Conley is still gone. Who's the rookie that they drafted? Not Taylor Hendricks, but the other guy that looked really good. Keontae George?
Yeah, Keontae George. There we go.
Yeah.
Keontae George. You know, if you're going to run with a rookie point guard and Jordan Clarkson, I don't think you're going to get quite as much value from Markkanen. Just you're not going to have the setup. I'm a little bit lower. Just the more I looked at him, the more I'm like, he's a good complimentary guy. But I do think we both have better complimentary guys left and a couple of star level guys.
He was 12th in points per game last year. He's not complimenting shit.
He would be better if he was complimenting shit.
He was awesome last year.
Maybe his team wouldn't be the 12 seed if he was the second or third option.
Yeah, I mean, it's the classic good stats bad team. You and I have been talking about small forwards all day. And actually, as I was prepping for that top 75 small forwards, I had Lauri Markkanen there, and I was like, is there a case? And I was like, no.
What?
Small forward is not actually that deep.
We were talking 50 to 75 best small forwards. It was way out there. Like Ingram got ranked, and
that's insane. I can't believe that there haven't been that many good small forwards in like NBA history.
Well, make it all-star teams tough.
If you think about the league, like in the beginning, there's only those 18. I mean, not 8 teams. There's more in the beginning and then shrinks down. But like in general, the league like widens out. So, you know, now kind of at this level, we're looking like one older small forward and like 5 modern small forwards, and then like one older and then like 5 more modern, because it's just is what it is. And there's a lot of role players and not that many guys that have been all-stars or
Yeah, I guess this kind of is like the age of wings as well. To totally
Mhm.
derail the conversation, like
Yeah, we're making
um,
great time, guys. 10
Who
minutes
was the
in.
other small forward we had, Nate? It was Ingram
Wiggins.
and Wiggins, yeah.
Andrew Wiggins. Did you get like Denny Granger or something in there too?
I tried, Dylan.
He-
Nate shot me down. I
He's
really
just
tried.
Man,
outside.
I was such a
Granger
big
was
Danny Granger fan.
He was awesome. 26
was.
points a night on a horrible team.
He
And
was.
Nate was just
Yeah.
like, no, it's not good enough.
That's exactly what we're talking about. 26 points a night on a horrible team. They did start off good, but
They started off good. If the Jazz wanted to, they could have made the plan. They could have easily made the plan, but that wasn't the intention, direction of the franchise. And marketing spoiled all of that. He was so good that they're like,
yeah,
hell, man, I can't tank with this.
he did kind of fuck them over. Maybe I was too harsh when I went back after Dylan and I talked and kind of dropped him down a bit. The highest guy on my board is Jalen Brunson.
I had him one spot back. Well, technically two, but so I could behind that.
Dylan, thoughts on Brunson? The leader of the Knicks, the star of New York.
I think it's like right around Lowry. Like we kind of talked about that kind of group of like all-star caliber guards last week with like Brunson, Trey Young, Kyrie Irving, Drew Holiday, Jamal Murray, Bradley Beal, James Harden, who I think is probably the next best guy that is going to be a tough sell. And so like, yeah, I feel like those are like the next group of guys. And so, they're like a tier. So I'm fine with Brunson. Trey Young is probably like another guy to throw in.
Yeah.
Like his rep is like way down, but he still like runs a really efficient offense and is one of the best passers in the league and creates difficult shots and should have a better season this year with a full season of Quinn Snyder. So I think there's a big group of guys and I'm down with Brunson being the top of them if you guys are cool with it.
26 Brunson. I do think you're right though. I think Trey Young, and that might actually the more you start saying Trey and the Quinn Snyder case, I could even see Trey over Brunson, but it's just the superstar qualities, I am leading a team. I'm doing it multiple ways offensively with my scoring and my passing. Hopefully there will be more than 2 passes a possession for the Hawks this season. But what do you guys think about Trey at 27?
I think it's the right spot, but we can't do a Trey Young bit without shitting on him mercilessly. Which one of us wants to do it?
Come on, maybe let's shit on Trey Young enough, right?
All right, he's probably one of the most underrated players in the NBA, but he is the worst defender in the league.
Keep it coming. Let's go. Come on.
Shoots like 34% from 3, and that's
not
like
a good
his
3-point
skill.
shooter.
Not a good 3-point shooter. Pretty inefficient scoring as a whole because he shoots a lot of mid ranges and doesn't really get to the rim. I think he's got like league average true shooting, which for a guy that's running your offense is not great.
Doesn't do jack shit off the ball. Has
Yeah.
a 600% usage rate.
Yeah. If he's not on the ball, he's just standing there.
10 assists to 4 turnovers, just by comparison. And you've got what is this? You got Halliburton with 10 assists. That's to 2.5 turnovers. Like, yeah, not the best assist to turnover ratio for some of these high assist guys.
Yeah.
But he has it. He's the Knicks Slayer. He's the new Reggie Miller. He's the killer of the garden.
I'm fine with him at 27, but I just find it. I can imagine a championship team with Larry Markkinen on it much faster than I can Trey Young. Maybe the deep playoff run you didn't see coming is Trey Young's specialty, but I'm not super interested in that. I'd much rather say like, hey, like Markkinen could be the second guy or something because Trey Young is like, Trey Young's pairing with another superstar doesn't look great. He has to be the first guy, and if he's your first guy, it's like okay,
yeah.
Where's this going?
It's you get into that conversation of low level first option or high level second
Yeah.
option.
Because it's a little bit like a Carmelo Anthony, where it's like, man, this guy's not going to beat LeBron. He's not going to beat Kobe. He's not going to beat a Dwight Howard. But he's still so much better than, like, I'm trying to think of another star of that era, but like so much better than your secondary guys, your guys that like Chauncey Billups. You know, as soon as Chauncey got there, they got a lot better. But he's still the guy, and Chauncey's the two, and it's just, yeah. I think there's only one more guy that I think has a case of kind of being that elite, not even elite, because we're talking about the 27th or 28th best guy. But I think now I'm ready for Zion. If healthy, I think Zion is still in this case. And then I think after that, we've got 15 people that could all be twos. Yeah. I hear a case for marketing behind Zion.
All right. I think Zion, we talked during the pod, we talked at some point about, we talked about players staying healthy and Kawhi Leonard and whatnot, and Zion doesn't play in games. And last season was so bad because you expect him to play, and he didn't like clearly get hurt. He just kind of was vaguely hurt, hurt. Like just like the rumor said it. It's one guy I heard from a friend of a friend that Zion isn't playing today 82 times. But when he's on the court, he's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking literally 60% field goal or percentage. The guy just pogo sticks his way, shoulder drops his way through the league. There's the only thing that stops him is health. And the hooker, or that was probably mean. I'm not sure what she was, a porn star or whatnot.
She was a porn star.
Okay.
Not a hooker.
Oh, you paid her 10
women
grand.
Empowerment,
So,
Nate.
yes. No, I'm very pro sex work. Like, by all means, you do who you, but that situation got way out of hand.
Yeah, she was tweeting at him like 50 to 100 times a day or something.
She got his name tattooed on her face.
No, don't tell me.
Yeah.
No, really?
Yes. Yes. It got way out of hand.
Okay, that's
I
a
think
different
that just
level.
I think that just goes to show the amount of loyalty and inspiration that Zion can really foster in those around him. And if that can manifest into the locker room as well, where, you know, guys are willing to do anything for him, you know, that's a real intangible that he can bring to the team.
Yeah. So now we're going to do like a bunch of number twos who's at this point. And if Aaron, if you feel strongly about Markkanen, I'm not going to fight you too much. I've got him 10 spots back, but I mean, we've got everyone.
I do feel pretty strongly. Dylan should be into this. It's like the Kevin Durant stuff, where huge guy that can shoot over anybody. I say this every time I mention Markkanen. I went to a Jazz game. He shot 15 of 17 on twos. It was the greatest performance I've ever seen in my life. Maybe I'm biased towards that because I watched him like rip my heart out for an hour and a half, but that kind of player, there's really no flaws in it. He's not playmaking or dribbling very much, but you just get him the ball anywhere and he's scoring.
All right. Seems like it's Lowry next.
All right. I'm not sure that I love it, but you've come in, you've had your passion. This is a compromising group. I suggest Jamal Murray for number 30.
That's who I had next. My next guy.
But I just, you know, what we saw him do throughout that playoff run. It's crazy that he's never been an all-star, but it also makes a lot of sense just with the injuries and the timing of those injuries. But we're looking at a guy that can shoot 40% from three, also get you 10 assists per game in the finals. Perfect compliment from Jokic, and he'll be 26 next season. Like, if we're talking about guys that are going to continue to progress, Murray has to still be in that category, both from a health standpoint and just from an age development curve.
Yeah, and maybe like not the most impressive regular season guy, like probably like a clear 2, maybe a 3 in the regular season, but like he has shown multiple times now in his career that he can step it up to like a, you know, a clear 2 or sometimes even a number 1 in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had Donovan Mitchell at 15. We had the bubble series between the two of them where they were going shot for shot. Then Murray got hurt for a while, and then kind of we got to fall more in love with Mitchell and more comfortable with Mitchell. But I would say this playoff series this playoff run ranks up there with anything we've ever seen Mitchell do. So our
For sure.
difference between 15 and 30, slim.
Yeah. He spent most of last season rehabbing, like the first few months of that. He's coming back,
Yeah, he
getting his
barely
shots
played,
up.
and then yeah.
Mhm.
And by the end of it, it kind of reminded me, like, I mean, the system that Jokic and Murray have is just so great, where Jokic obviously can get you buckets at the end, but he dominates the first few quarters, and then at the end, it's like Jamal Murray time. It's the two-man game with Jamal Murray with the ball in his hands. It's kind of like reminiscent of with Giannis and the Bucks in their finals run with like what Chris Middleton was doing in a way, where Middleton kind of has the ball at the end of the games because Giannis isn't this great tough shot maker, but Murray is and Middleton was, and I like the Murray placement.
Perfect. Dylan, any nominations for 31?
Yeah, I had a couple guys over everyone that we've mentioned. Like I was saying before, James Harden's a really hard sell, but he's still like an elite offensive creator and has proven to be able to scale it back in, to a number 2 guy. But I think he could easily come out and, lead a pretty good regular season team as the number 1 option. There's off-court weird stuff and, he might demand a trade from your team and, try to get Daryl Morey fired or whatever. And obviously the playoffs have never been good for him. He has some of those same Trae Young problems in terms of defense and offensive disinterest at times when he's off the ball. But like the dude's still an elite offensive player who I think can be like a really good 2 or, can still be a number 1 on a pretty good regular season team.
Heading into last season, we had Harden. Well, me and Nate had Harden at 23. I think this is a pretty reasonable drop off from 23 down to 31 as he gets older, as his issues become more present. I'd be okay with it. He led the league in assists last year. Maybe he's not going to be great in the playoffs, but it's still a high level of play that's hard to find.
Yeah. Part of my hesitation is just not knowing what situation he's going to be in next year. And I think in this range, like, if Murray was, I don't know, if Murray was in Atlanta, I don't know that I feel quite as high about his situation, but Murray being in Denver makes me really like it. Harden being this anomaly, if you guys are confident in it, we can lock him in, but I'm just worried about what situation he's going to end up in and how that's actually going to look.
I think he's surprisingly adaptable. Like, I can't imagine a team where he can't contribute at a high level on offense.
We can always come back.
What if he ends up in Vegas? There's not currently a team in Vegas this day, but
are we ever really sure what situation Harden's going to be in? That's never a certainty.
Yeah. I just think, if he's in the Clippers, that now he's like offensive person number 3, and it's a very different look. And
he'll have the easiest ride of his career.
Yeah.
He'll still put up 25, but he'll shoot like 50, 40, 90.
Yeah. Dylan, I'm really curious who the other guys you have still ahead of the guys you've nominated are.
I made the case for Drew last week, and Nate didn't buy it at all, so I put him on the back burner.
Nate's stubborn, man. He really is.
Well, yeah, there was a big disconnect, so I'll let that one go. I'll fight him on some, but he was way off of way lower on Drew, so I let it go. And then, linking back to James Harden, fellow dickhead Kyrie Irving.
I had Kyrie a few spots back. I had Drew even a bit further down, like 37. Kyrie 35, Holiday 37. I like those guys. I just don't feel like it's time yet. I'd rather do Kyrie. You could sell me on Kyrie because the talent's there, and maybe he won't be fucking crazy this year.
Yeah, upside Kyrie is like 10 to 15 spots higher than this, and then you knock him back because he's a dickhead.
Also,
but
both
downside
Kyrie and James Harden are kind of in. Sorry, both of them are kind of in contract years. So, could we see a little bit more of an upside? They both.
What does that mean anymore, though? the contract. Everyone gets paid and then you get traded. It's not like it used to be, or you had
But
to
they
like ball
didn't get
out for the
paid.
contract.
They didn't though. Because
Yeah,
I think you're right. Everyone has always gotten traded, or you get paid, you get traded. Kyrie went into that summer offseason with the Nets and was like, "Yeah, I'm going to get paid somewhere." And then everyone's like, "No," and the Nets were like, "We're not giving you this deal. You got to earn it." And
Yeah,
what did he sign
and
for
he couldn't
Dallas?
even get a trade. There wasn't even a trade market. Like no one wanted the dude. And he's like,
This-
okay, I better come out and behave for a
Yeah.
while.
okay. Man, should we do
Uh,
Kyrie? Should we say upside Kyrie? Because downside Kyrie is the worst player in the league because he's at home. You can't play basketball on your couch unless you have like a mini hoop by the TV.
I hate to say it, but I'm starting to lean more towards Drew.
God damn it,
Where
Nate! We just
I
got all
poo-pooed
this
Drew.
momentum.
Well, I'm cool with these guys actually being our next three. The only name that I'm looking at on my board that's above them that I feel passionately is Mikal Bridges. And it's a small sample size of what we saw from him in Brooklyn, but that 27 games is just an insane shooting splits, getting 26 points a night while also playing very good defense. Going into age 27 season, I think we're going to see prime Mikal Bridges. You also don't have to worry about health issues, about chaos issues,
yeah.
about any other
Yeah.
type of issues.
Yeah, like there's like the opposite of Kyrie. There's like a dude that's you don't have to worry about the downside at all, and who's going to be in every single game, literally every single game.
The
That's
one
pretty exciting.
The one downside with Mikal is maybe what we saw is more of a blip. Maybe what we saw is not actually going to be sustainable over the course of an 82 game season. Also, the Nets weren't particularly good. They had a sub 500 record post that trade and kind of coasted into the playoffs off of the backs of what Durant did earlier.
Yeah, I feel like he kind of had like the typical like over his head number one option season, where like put up good points and the team wasn't very good, but like even the ability to put up good amount of points as a number one kind of lends itself to being a very good number two or number three. I feel like Drew is better on both ends of the floor. Like Mikal at his best defensively is probably more versatile, but I think he kind of, as his offensive role grew, his defensive impact and effort lessened. So I'd rather have Drew over Mikal, but I did have Mikal in sort of that same sort of range.
Aaron, is there anyone else that you've put in this tier, or can we just rank these four names?
I hate to throw another name on this pile to make it more complicated,
It's
but
okay.
I think Jaylen Brown should be in this. He was all NBA last year, like 27 points a night.
Yeah, but so was Julius Randle.
Okay, but we have our issue. Randall has his issues. Brown doesn't have those issues.
Wait, Brown doesn't have the issue of forgetting how to dribble?
He doesn't have the issue of being like the least efficient scorer in the league. Brown has his ball handling issues, but
yeah, to make it more complicated, it also has Jaylen Brown right around here as well.
Okay. Can we have him last of these guys?
what would be all the guys again? Kyrie,
Kyrie, Drew.
Kyrie.
I
James
can't
Harden.
justify Drew Holiday above Jaylen Brown.
Why not?
Because Jaylen Brown is better. He's a much better offensive player, able to handle that kind of scoring load.
I think he's a better scorer, and Drew is better in all other aspects.
I
mean, scoring is most of offense.
This game's about buckets. Basketball is about buckets.
Yeah.
So, just points per game wise, we're looking at about a 7 points per game difference, 19 versus 26. But you also have a lot more ball handling and creation from Drew, and I would much rather have Drew on defense than Jaylen Brown, even with the size discrepancy and the.
Jaylen Brown's probably one of the more overrated defenders in the league as well.
And we were saying that you have Giannis ranked at 2 and put Drew Holiday above Jaylen Brown, and they lost in 5 games of the Heat last year. In that playoff series, Drew was
Giannis out
points.
with a back.
He can't step up a little bit. He was not even a touch. His Drew's scoring went down and his efficiency went way down when
Yeah,
they called upon him. And
Aaron,
Jalen Brown has stepped up.
a pick and roll with Bobby Portis versus a pick and roll with Giannis has slightly different impacts on the defense.
Yeah, it's you got to space the floor more. You got to look out for the shooting.
All right. So if we knocked them, who do we feel the highest on this? How do we want to do it? I think these are the 5 names. I'm comfortable with these being the 5 names.
I mean, I want James Harden, but
I thought we locked in James Harden. I had him at 31.
Harden 31 locked
Yeah.
in.
Harden
All right.
locked in, beautiful. So then we're doing what? We're doing
Kyrie?
Yeah, I think upside
Drew
Kyrie
Holiday,
is,
Jalen Brown.
yeah, and Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have Mikal Bridges than Jalen. I think that's a much more efficient scorer
This is
and better
Lakers shit.
defender.
This
Yeah.
is Lakers shit and Celtics hate.
I think
I've
Mikal's
had
last
enough.
among the.
Oh my god.
I think Mikal's last among those guys.
Last. Oof. All right. Are you guys is then Jalen, Drew, then Mikal?
Yeah.
Okay. Jalen 33, Drew 34, Mikal 35. 10 players have been ranked.
Ryan.
15 to go. Nominations for 36. And tell me why it's Julius Randle.
It's not Julius Randle. I have a good one though. Heading into last season, number 20. We ranked this guy number 20, and then he got hurt. Was Karl Anthony Towns.
You think you see a revenge season?
I think I see a revenge season. He was good when he played. He was great the year prior. I mean, he's unquestionable on questionable teams. He's like 25 points, 12 boards, and 3 assists on preposterous efficiency. He makes bad decisions in big moments, and he doesn't have like that crazy it factor. But I think he can be the number 1 option on a team that does matter. And you might even see something like Anthony Edwards takes the big shots in the 4th quarter, while Towns kind of carries his scoring load early on. The Wolves might be really good, and Towns is probably going to be a huge part of that if he's healthy.
I don't hate
Anthony.
it.
You had Edwards at 18, and you're saying Towns is going to be all the way down in like the mid 40s. I think he should be a bit earlier than that.
Well, I mean, there's just so many good players in the league right now. Like, I mean, we're down to 36. We're looking at guys that are still all-star contention. Like, there's only 24 all-stars. There's like 40 guys who could conceivably 45 guys that can be all-stars this next year. I don't hate the Karl Anthony Towns. I actually had him higher than some of the guys we just ranked. And part of that is he actually played good, maybe not good, but above average defense in the Denver series. I liked him as an off-ball roamer. Or, you know, he's never going to be a great defensive player, but they started to figure out the schemes, and they gave Denver the hardest series, maybe not quite the hardest, but they pushed Denver a little bit. And part of that could be that Denver hadn't ramped up yet. They were really taking the end of the regular season lightly, and the Timberwolves came ready to play. But I'm still a believer in Cat and Gobert working it out together on the court and being something interesting. So I'm not entirely against this.
We hate to say this, but the Timberwolves gave Denver the most trouble.
I just said this. What do you mean we hate to say this? I think you just tune me out when I talk.
No, sorry. I just spaced out for a second.
It was a valuable point, and he just wanted to reiterate it.
Yeah. They get the most trouble.
Dylan, are you going to fight?
I hate to say it.
At 36?
I mean, I had a few guys above him, but like, you guys both sound like you're in agreement, so I'll let you swing it.
All right. Let's save the powder for the next argument. I've got a name that I just want to float out there. I don't think you're going to agree to it, although Dylan did like it when I mentioned him last week. Cade Cunningham.
Whoa.
I think we're ready for the blossoming. He was hurt at the start of last year. He seems to come back healthy. A lot of rage about him out of the Team USA camp when he played with the select team and beat the Team USA. He's a bigger guard. He is a versatile league-ready guard. we haven't seen much of him on the court. It's a big jump. But even last season we ranked him 37 coming into it. I'm comfortable with it. I think he's continued to improve, continue to develop. And I think that from what I've heard from the Team USA camp, he looks like he belongs in this range. So, if you want to push me back a little bit, I need to start priming the wall for us to write Cade Cunningham's name on it.
I could be interested. I think there's one name I'd like over him almost for sure, which is Darius Garland. I just think he's been there and proven that he's an elite level player in terms of playmaking and shot making. He's a lethal 3-point shooter, great complimentary guy. I don't think what Cade can do in hypotheticals is better than Garland can do right now. Maybe Cade's fucking awesome, but I just think Garland already is, and it's just a little too early. But I could be in on it in the next pick.
Dylan? What you got? What are some of your other names? I know you got names.
I feel like
You don't like your names.
yeah, I mean, like there's a theory of Cade, like not remotely, like there's practically zero evidence. It's like one guy said that he like was looking good, which is interesting. And then there's like Garland, who's like, I don't know, like a lower level, like second option. There's some other just like kind of empty statsy kind of bucket getters that are probably better than Garland. I feel like, like Bradley Beal, DeMar DeRozan, those kind of players who are just better offensive players than Garland.
There are two guys that if you wanted something that's less bucket getter, less potential empty stats, but guys who are kind of coming off of absentee seasons, we've got Andrew Wiggins entering his age 28 season. This last year was a down year for him, just in comparison to all of his prior years. But also he was going through some pretty intense family stuff, spent half the year away, only played 37 games. I do believe his absence was a big impact on what Golden State did last year and how they weren't able to quite come together and how they had a lot of regular season issues. And we also have Chris Middleton, who was limited to 33 games coming back from injury, and at the end of the year started to look like his old self. But, certainly the numbers don't reflect it. Both of these guys, I mean, Middleton was 27 in our rankings last year. Wiggins was 40. But if you wanted someone that has shown they can do a bit more.
You guys are out of your fucking mind with that Wiggins ranking last year. You're out of your mind. It was horrible, and it'd be even worse now.
The dude was like the second best player on the championship.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. I don't have Wiggins for a while.
He's a top 75 all-time small forward.
That's true. He snuck in. Where do we have him? Like 50, 55 or something?
He's top 60.
He's a top 60 all-time small forward.
That's true. That's true. Where does Darius Garland rank in the points?
He's
Didn't
not
think about that.
Yeah, he didn't make it into our top 75. Tell you that. He didn't make it top 75 point guards.
That's true. All of us seem uninspired by our nominations.
No.
Can we give one name from each of us and see if anyone agrees? I still think it's Garland. Dylan, who's yours?
Bradley Beal.
Okay.
Dude can still get buckets. Like he's been the number one option on a bad team.
If I only get to nominate one guy, I'm going with Chris Middleton. Just hoping for a bounce back season because I think we all agree that the Middleton of 2 years ago is better than these other two guys.
Yeah. Middleton of 2 years ago is better than these guys, but I don't expect that player to exist.
And yet you keep ranking Kawhi so high. Kawhi,
I agree.
Teflon.
I agree more with Dylan, so I'll compromise with Beal.
Okay, Beal it is. I do think there is potential for us to get the best Bradley Beal season we've seen from a contributions to winning. I'm not super high. We've all talked. We're not a big fan of the trade in general, but there is the case. There is that potential. All right, so if we go Beal at 37, Garland 38.
Yeah, sounds great.
Now can we maybe talk about Middleton?
Dylan, are
DeRozan,
you ready? You ready for the
Wiggins,
Middleton conversation? No, Wiggins.
Julius Randle. I mean, at this point, if we're talking about inefficient scorers that put up regular season numbers that help their team, Randall's 25 points, 10 and rebounds, 4 assists. Like, he does have the playmaking. The 3-point shooting is back up to 34%. He jacked up 8 threes a game this past season. Falls apart in the playoffs, but they got to the second round.
He was injured. He was injured in the playoffs, but he's still not going to translate well. Dylan, where was Randall on your board? Was he on your board at all?
Yeah, we're almost there. I'd say I've got one more guy that's in a tier above him.
Who's that?
And I feel like you both may hate it.
I respect Dylan's opinions. I'd be interested.
Draymond Green.
Jesus Christ.
Like the box score numbers.
I fucking hate it.
Box score numbers
so
aren't good. Still one of the most impactful defensive players. And his ability to not score but create offense and make things go smoothly. He still makes positive contributions, really positive contributions on both ends of the floor.
Yeah. Looking at my list, I only had him down at 47, so it's actually not that far off.
I had a number of guys above Green. Just
he's top 3 defensive player in the league and also a positive offensive player. There's no one left that comes close to that on either ends of the floor.
I will say I went and pulled up some of the play-by-play stats numbers. And it's a limited sample size of Green without Curry. But you wanted to guess what their net offense or what their net rating is? Green without Curry.
It's in the toilet.
I feel like it's good.
5.5.
I don't know where the toilet is on this. Tell me what that means.
5.5 is great.
Yeah,
that's great. All right.
Yeah, over 7 is you should be winning 60 games with that type of team. So 5.5 is really good. Curry's without Green is only 0.55. So
I think Sabonis and Fox, both of them were +5.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying. It's the net rating stuff. I get it.
With them both on, they're +8. With them both off, they're -9.
Gotcha.
So you would expect this. I guess I could be talked into Green. I think Wiggins is a better and more impactful player for the Warriors. But if we really want Green, yeah, sure, you want Green over Middleton? Am I crazy here?
I'm very worried about Chris Middleton.
He was starting to look good there at the end of the season, right? What was Middleton doing?
We were talking about Danny Granger earlier. He just seems like he's about to have that drop off.
Tail off.
Whoa, that's scary.
Playoff numbers for Middleton are 24 points per game on 46, 40, 86 shooting splits.
It's pretty efficient scoring.
That's pretty efficient scoring. That's without Giannis for a couple of those games. So all right.
I have a nomination. I have a fun
nomination. Who's your guy?
Okay.
Just last year in the 2022 season, the Hornets won 43 games and LaMelo Ball averaged 28 and 7 on pretty good, on great shooting numbers. He was shooting at 39% from 3 on 8 attempts. Where did we have him last year?
47.
47th. I think we should move him up. I think he had all these ankle issues, couldn't play. The Hornets were terrible. And we're going to pretend like he wasn't good when he is really good. And he can facilitate good offenses.
Yeah.
Maybe even great ones.
Yeah, I feel like with the right team around him, he's on like the worst organization in the league, which makes it difficult. But I feel like with the right team around him, like he could really, drive a really awesome offense.
But do they have the right team around him?
I
I
mean,
think
they
it's getting
don't,
there.
but like, is that his fault?
No, but you're saying that he's going to look better in other situations. And I'm just saying that the actual situation that he's in is not good.
I don't think it's that bad. I think with Bridges coming back, I think with Brandon Miller, with Mark Williams, like that team's gonna win if healthy, like 40 games. 40, 43, 45. That could be one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference next year. They have the talent to do it. Brandon
Okay.
Miller
I
was
feel like
an
with
exceptional spot up shooter in college, and if that can translate,
Yeah.
just that part, will be
and
great.
like he's still young, so should be improving. But like we've already seen him reach a peak that's higher than like this kind of level.
Okay.
Like we've seen him reach a like, basically like Tyrese Halliburton peaks, and
No.
And he was 20. He was 20 last year. He was 20 years old, and we're saying that he's gonna get worse, or he's gonna be
All right.
right now. He's 20. He's still 21. He's gonna turn 22 in 2 days actually, but really
like
Okay.
he's on a shitty team and he's kind of a douchebag. But like,
So if we
he's
like,
he's a elite ball handler, shooter.
is this where we're going to
With
start putting in
size.
some young guys then? Thoughts on Cade coming back or Paulo?
I could be interested in Cade at this point and Paulo, and we're getting in that area. I still have like DeMar DeRozan, Desmond Bain, Dejounte Murray.
I do think we need to get DeRozan in there. I know he'll be 34 this next year, but the guy's mid-range god, and like
I think
we know what he
25
is.
teams in the league would rather have Draymond than DeMar DeRozan.
We already put Draymond, didn't we? I've been writing these down. Draymond's 39, Melo's 40, DeMar DeRozan's 41.
I
Did
did
you lock
not
him
write
in,
in
mate?
Draymond, but I guess I will
All
go
right.
back and lock in Draymond. All right.
Yeah.
So we lock in Draymond, we lock in LaMelo. I think DeMar. I think it's time for DeMar.
Dude gets
Yeah.
buckets.
Yeah.
Gets buckets. That's worth something at that point.
Yep. That's pretty much all he can do, but that's a pretty important skill in basketball.
Scoring the basketball. Okay. I have kind of a tier of 7 guys at this point, and I'm just going to throw out all the names. I want to hear what you think. We've already talked about a few of them. We got Cade. We got Julius Randle, Chris Middleton, Rudy Gobert, Andrew Wiggins, Paolo Banchero, and Franz Wagner. And I think Desmond Bain should have been in there. Or Aaron, you just mentioned Bain's name.
Yeah. I'm most interested in Paulo. I'll take a big swing on a young guy. I mean, his scoring was really great last year in terms of being a rookie, being like the first option, essentially, trying to shoulder that load. Shooting was a struggle, but I think with time, he'll be able to get to his spots and knock down the shots that he wants. And the Magic aren't a desolate team. Like, there's lots of talent. I think they're ready to kind of take that jump pretty soon. Dylan,
would
who are you
agree.
most interested in?
No, I like it. I like pretty much all those guys that Nate said. Like those are pretty much, I think, my guys as well. And like Cade and Paolo, where you maybe reach on both of them because I like both their upside. And yeah, like Desmond Bain, who you added in, is also a guy that I have in this sort of range.
So can we do Paulo at 42, Cade at 43?
Yeah. Did we take Towns off the board?
Yes, Towns was up at 36.
Okay, because I feel like this is where he fits in as well.
Yeah.
But oh well.
What do we think about Desmond Bain?
What's the anti-Towns argument, Dylan?
Like, I feel like he's like the third best player on his team, and I don't know how he fits in on like a really good NBA team. Like last week, I was really buying into this. Like, Jokic has changed the league, and actually, you can win a championship with a center that's not great defensively. So yeah, maybe like he should be high. He does still have some defensive skill, but yeah, that's right. We locked him in. It's fine.
Yeah. All right. I locked in Paolo. I locked in Cade. And Anyone feel passionately? I I do want to preface. Like I was listening to the Ringers Fantasy Football prepping for my fantasy football league, and they had a podcast called "Guys That We Hate to Rank," but our professional credibility would suffer if we didn't put some of these guys in there. So they're like, we're not going to take these guys for our team. Like, this guy's going to have to fall like 3 rounds to get to us. But I think part of that, some of those guys, Julius Randle, whatever we can say about his criticisms, the man puts up numbers. The man is consistently there. And that does impact winning, at least, of course, the regular season.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's consistently there until you get to the playoffs, and then teams can actually prepare for him, and it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
I'm ready for him. I think it's about time.
But yeah, he does like put up regular season numbers and is an impactful regular season player.
Perfect. Locked him in. Rudy Gobert, Andrew Wiggins, Chris Middleton. I know these aren't sexy names, but
They're
Could we
so not
do-
sexy.
Can we do Wiggins and then Desmond Bain?
I can do Wiggins and Bain.
All right.
What do you guys think about Desmond Bain's upcoming season? How are you guys feeling about this?
Obviously, very excited. I mean, like he's gonna be. There's gonna be a lot asked of him offensively, and
Mm-hmm.
I think he has like shown that he actually can scale up his role and be a pretty efficient and impactful scorer. And like I wish that it like his arms were like 6 inches longer and he would be like an all-star, but like he's still strong. He is a pretty, I think, underrated passer.
Mhm.
And like he can put up buckets and like has shown that he contributes to winning basketball. So
My one thing that I'm a little bit worried with him is just with Ja being out and Tyus Jones being gone. Now ball handling and offensive creation duties kind of do fall more towards him. I mean, you're gonna have Marcus Smart there. If Marcus Smart is your primary ball handler and creator, that makes me a little bit more worried. Like I think Smart can be like a 1A as a ball handler and creator, but I want the other guy, like I want a 1B, and like I want 2 guys to be there that handle it. And I think that's now going to be Bane. Now
like,
Bane did show.
you want Marcus Smart playing with Ja, not playing with
Yeah.
Desmond Bain as his next best ball handler.
Yeah. Now Bane did show some growth on the ball handling and the creation categories. Is in development. So I'm interested to see if that leap continues or if that not leap, but steady growth continues. So I'm fine with 46. And you're going to get 20 points now. You're going to get 40% from 3, but I think that ball handling needs to continue to take a step up. Otherwise, you're just in Zach LaVine territory, which
Gotta mention
Yeah.
him coming up.
Yeah. Who scores like close to 30 points and we haven't even mentioned him.
Yeah. I mean, there's a strong chance LaVine's an all-star this next year. He's been an all-star a couple of years, so like it's within the realm of possibility, and we're at 47.
Oh, we only got 3 more guys.
4.
4 more guys.
50.
Okay. You mentioned another couple guys who were. Sorry, Aaron, you go.
No, you're good.
You mentioned another couple guys. Who were they?
Another couple
right?
guys: Middleton, Gobert, Franz Wagner.
Okay. Could we do Miles Turner over Gobert? Like a far superior offensive player and also a really good rim protector?
I hadn't considered Miles Turner for this.
I actually didn't have them far apart. I have them a ways back, but I have them pretty close together.
Like, dude's one of the best rim protectors in the league. One of the few 3-and-D centers, and last year like made big improvements as a roll man and finisher inside. Good rebounder. Like he doesn't really have any weaknesses. Like this is a dude that could put up close to 20 points and on efficient scoring and is still one of the best rim protectors in the league.
Would
I
you
didn't
rather
realize
have
that scoring
Brook
bump.
Lopez though?
I think this is the year that Miles Turner surpasses him.
Okay.
As Brook continues to age.
Age is like fine wine. Who knows what he'll do next? He's gonna add a handles package. He's gonna start
Yeah.
crossing guys up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he waited like 10 years to add the 3-point shot. What's going to add?
And the defense, like he spent the first 10 years of his career being like, man, how do I defend? And then Bud's like, you're 7 feet tall and really strong. If you just stand under the rim, no one will be able to score. He's like, oh, that changes everything.
Yeah,
like got him from like a decent bench player to like a clear starter. So yeah, maybe he like realizes he's like, wait a minute, I am 7 feet tall and really strong. If I just hold the ball above my head, no one can grab it, and I can just pass to the open player. Maybe that's the new wrinkle.
Did you ever read? Did you ever read Seth Partnown's book?
Who's this directed?
No.
Dylan. He's a big Partnown guy, so I kind of
it was turned out to be hard to get in New Zealand.
He's got a whole bit in there about the Bucks going for Lopez, and it was kind of an interesting thing because they decided what style of defense they wanted to run. They decided they wanted to run this drop coverage, and they were like, who actually does the best in drop? And like they kind of scoured and found the numbers, and they're like, oh hey, Lopez actually does a really good job in drop defense, but teams just keep not having him do that, and they're like, well, that's the style we want to run. Like, let's get him. And it was kind of
like low key, the Bucks getting Brook Lopez as to be their starting center is like one of the best low key like front office decisions. Like that really made that team. Without Brook Lopez, becoming the player that he was because of the position that they put him in, I think like Giannis's career and the Bucks team as a whole is like so much different. And I don't think they're a championship team, and I don't think Giannis gets to the heights that he was able to get.
Yeah. All right. I think you more talked me off of Gobert as opposed to in on Miles Turner. Although I'm not too far off. Aaron, who you got?
I think I'd rather have Brook Lopez. I don't think we're in the right spot.
Yeah, we're not. No, who you got next for 47?
I had DeJounte Murray. Why does no one like DeJounte Murray?
I hate DeJounte Murray, man.
He's good.
There's like the most overrated defender in the league. That isn't actually a good on-ball defender. Like he does still make plays, which is nice, but isn't a good on-ball defender. Isn't an efficient scorer. Takes bad shots. Stagnates the offense. The offense is never good when he's on. Like he put up one good box score season and used to be a good defender, and so he got this reputation as like a all-star caliber guy. But I would rather have Fred VanVleet. I'd rather have Tyrese
God
Maxey.
damn! All right, never mind.
I'd rather have like Derek White, maybe.
Derek White.
Yes, Derek White.
I was banking on the name value a little bit. Maybe just a bounce back season for a kind of a really odd Hawks year. I had VanVleet one spot back after that, so I could do VanVleet.
Yeah, VanVleet's my next guy after Turner. So I love that we have like all these random dudes, and then we're like, oh, but we all just have VanVleet like one spot apart.
It's the consensus guys, which I think that's why this is so valuable to do individually. Like, and even still, like I still remember the first year that we did this when none of us had DeJounte Murray, and then that was his breakout year. And like we posted, one guy's like, I really like your list, but I feel like DeJounte Murray should be like 50. And we looked at him like, yeah, we kind of missed that. But all right, so if Levine's 47, any love for Middleton or Franz? They're my two guys. They're
Levine or VanVleet.
VanVleet.
You locked in VanVleet.
VanVleet's
right?
47. Yeah.
47,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were saying Levine. Okay. How do you guys feel about Levine? Feels like this is the Levine area.
Scores a lot of points.
Kind of the same.
Maybe we'll figure it out. Dylan hates it. He's over there fuming in the box. Right?
I like Tyrese Maxey and Derek White better than Levine.
Why is that?
I mean, they're just both contributors to winning, and Zach LaVine is not. Like, if I'm trying to build a good team, like, even if I'm trying to build, like, where the Bulls are as, like, a, just a try-hard team, just trying to get to the play-in, I think I'd still rather have both of those guys. I think Maxey can, like with James Harden out of the way as the number one point guard, I think people are going to really come to appreciate how good this dude is. Like, he gets to the rim at a crazy rate, and his 3-point shooting is like it's almost looks fluky because he doesn't look like, as he's creating these 3-pointers, as like a guy that should shoot like 40%, but he's done it on pretty good volume and pretty consistently. I feel like he's just a better. I feel like your offense is going to be way better if Tyrese Maxey's your number one guy than Zach LaVine's your number one guy. And down, if Tyrese Maxey's your number 2, you're better. If Tyrese Maxey's your number 3, you're better than LaVine is your 3.
Okay, I get it. You talked me into it.
Yeah.
Nate, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually, the more I think about it, and I kind of was perusing their stats as you were talking, and they're very similar. And I think the one thing that we can kind of look at and think about is that Maxey was probably going to take a step up in the role, and LaVine's going to take a step down, or LaVine's going to at least stay the same. And what do we know about the Bulls? They're not going to go anywhere, and we know that Maxey's going to have more opportunity. So I'm fine, but can we lock in LaVine afterwards? I do think this is the right range for LaVine. And you're not going to be able to talk me into Derek White. That is...
All right.
Marcus Smart is better than Derek
Nate?
White.
Why is that? Is it this? Is it the jersey he's wearing? Is it the goddamn Celtics jersey?
It's that he's not a top 50 player.
Marcus Smart is in no universe better than Derek White. Derek White is better the entire season. Out of your fucking mind.
Derek White supplanted Marcus Smart on when they were on the same team.
If Marcus Smart,
best guard.
Yeah. If Marcus Smart played for Boston, Nate wouldn't want him on the top 100. No fucking way. Be like, he's old now. Not that good on defense.
I put him in the top 100 every year.
You wouldn't do it this year. Your hate grows with time.
Derek White is now a better defensive and offensive player than Marcus Smart.
Ooh.
Thank you for coming to my talk. But yeah, we can do Zach LaVine. Like we're saying, there's still value to putting up efficient buckets, even if it doesn't lead to much.
We have one more spot left.
Guys, can we do Middleton?
All right, fine.
Yeah, let's close it out.
Number 50. If Middleton's healthy and returns to form of 2 years ago, he should be top 24, top 30. I think dropping him to 50 is an appreciable enough drop, right, guys?
I think it's fair.
Yeah,
I think it's fair.
Yeah. And like you said, like the playoff numbers were still good, so like he does still have that. That upside isn't totally gone.
Yeah,
he's probably a little bit slower, like maybe more of a 4 defender now, but still a really good passer and shooter. He can create his own shot. So, yeah,
perfect. All right, Aaron, do you want to read 26 through 50?
Sure thing. That's what I'm here for. 26 is Jalen Brunson. Then Trae Young, Zion, Laurie Markkinen. At 30 is Jamal Murray, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns, Bradley Beal, Darius Garland, Draymond Green. 40 is LaMelo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, Paolo Banchero, Cade Cunningham, Julius Randle, Andrew Wiggins, Desmond Bane, Fred VanVleet, Tyrese Maxey, Zach LaVine, and 50 is Chris Middleton.
Perfect. Great list. Aaron, where can people find you?
Possible Chairs on TikTok and this podcast all the time.
Yeah. Got some exciting guests coming up. Dylan, where can the people find you?
Sometimes on this podcast, but sometimes just listening to it because there are some exciting guests coming up.
Yeah. You can also find me on Hoopstemple or on TikTok, Hoopstemple Pod. Also sometimes listen to this podcast because Aaron kicks me off my own show sometimes. But check out the upcoming guests.